Episode 32 of the Men Lie, Women Lie Way More, and All Flowers Die podcast with the lovely Zumba master, Don Julio's endorser, Mama Les. I'm Uncle Joe, and today our guest is Stice.
Thank you for having
Stice
me.
Life.
I'm excited.
Stice Life is an acronym. I just learned this today for strategy, transformation, important criteria embodied, lessons in fitness earned.
Yes.
So Mama Les has earned some lessons in her fitness journey under the tutelage of Mr. Stice. And we're going to get to that. We're going to learn more about Mama Les and everything she's learned from the workout and how it's affected her life in positive ways. But first, we're going to get into the life and career of young Mr. Stice, who I just found out was on Housewives of Atlanta, was a bartender, was a security guard on Miami Beach, used to run around topless on the beach, probably going crazy out there.
He still runs around topless on the beach. He still runs around topless at the pool.
At the local pool.
/beach because it has sand.
Right.
Hey, smart man. Now married, 14 years.
Yes.
Proud father, boy, girl, fitness coach, life coach, positive brother, smart. Drop some jewels on these lovely ladies earlier, and I'm sure he'll drop some more.
He always does.
Shortly. Real quick, so the correlation I was making, because we were just having an in-depth conversation about some current events that just occurred, J-Lo filing for divorce, and Ben Affleck, and the difficulties of married life, and the honeymoon phase, and boom, right? So, do you think in working out, there's a honeymoon phase? Like when you first sign up, and you're like, you got your new gear, and...
Absolutely.
Your suit.
I think as soon as you start, right, you have that whole plan. That's why, like, every gym goes through that phase where it's like in January, everybody
says that, right? Don't go to the gym in January.
By February, everyone's gone.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the reason why it's that honeymoon kind of phase. It's that lust. I'm going to get in shape. I have all these goals. They saw someone that they wanted to look like, or J-Lo, right? And then she wants that body, and he wants this body, and whatever. And it happens, and shit hits the fan when it's hard, right?
When the honeymoon phase ends.
Because people forget about all the obstacles that they also have to cancel, right? The bad influences in their life that can be right there, sleeping next to them, right? Could be your spouse, could be your friend, could be your kids also, because you have to buy snacks for them and things like that. So you have to eliminate those obstacles in order to really achieve the goal that you want. And people think that it's so hard, but it's really not, you know? You make it hard because you're still not fully decided. You just decided on the body. You didn't decide on the life change.
Right.
You think this is just a 6-month quick fix me so that I can look cute on the beach. This is a lifestyle. This is forever. This is like a job. This is a routine. This should be your medication to longevity. And people aren't looking at it like that. They're looking at it as like, oh, I just want to look good. Yeah. And it's like, it's not about just looking good. It's about feeling good. It's about untapping more talents than you even thought you had. I was never a reader. I never read books in school, never liked to educate myself. I was just there to do sports and things like that. Once I got into fitness, hardcore, and all this, so many things have opened up to me. So many talents that I never even knew I had. I'm on the way over here. All I do in my car, I don't listen to anything unless it's educational. I don't watch anything unless it's educational. The only shows that I watch that are not educational, I do it because I spend time with my wife and she likes doing that. But for me, I'm constantly studying. I'm doing an audio book a week. You know, I'm doing 100 Million Leads right now by Alex Hermosi. I was listening to him on the way over here, and it's like, I'm trying to squeeze every little bit of information out of everything that I love, because I know there's more gems in there, you know, and I'm more upset that I took so long to realize it. And I think that needs to change for everyone, because there's so many more talents that people don't even know that they have, and it's because they haven't worked hard enough for them. And when they do that through fitness, they realize a lot of other shit that they thought was hard is now easy.
Right. So we were having this discussion, Mama Les, before you arrived. regarding, well, we were having multiple discussions, but one was about
that late?
time. Speaking of time, and how a lot of people might say they don't have time to work out, or they can't make the time. You know, they're a parent, they're a working adult, a functioning adult. They have responsibilities. They have, let's say, hobbies or things that they enjoy, and they make the excuse of, I don't have time to work out. So my question to Stice was, what advice would you give to someone who claims they don't have the time to work out?
Are you asking me or are you asking him?
No. I asked him, and
okay.
he was telling me how he uses he tries to squeeze every minute out of the day in a positive manner.
So I know we were going to wait to share my experience, but I want to answer that because I was that person, right? I didn't have time prior to meeting Stice. I worked out, I had trainers here and there, right? But it was never consistent. Once I started with Stice, right, just his way of coaching, his way, it honestly was motivation. He motivated me. And then him seeing, you know, the work that I was putting in, he then continued to fill my cup. Right? The more I gave, the more he gave. It's gotten to the point that it has been more of a life-changing mental shift for me. I can tell you, like, for example, my son now does football.
Yes.
Right? Football, his schedule for football now interferes the weeks that I have him, because I have him every other week, right? His dad has him 1 week, I have him 1 week. The weeks that I have him interferes with my class with Stice, right? That could have been an easy excuse for me to be like, oh, I won't go, right? I'll go next week when I don't have Jeremy, right? No, what did I do? I ended up finding a gym that's nearby to his practice, drop him off at practice, go to the gym. Does it suck that I can't make the class? Absolutely. But now it's so ingrained in me that I'm like, I can't miss. Like,
you can't miss the workout.
Oh my God, no. I get like desesperada. Like, I'm like, you know, like a fiend. And that, I owe that to him, right? I don't know how he did it, because I really don't know. But he, little by little, just like, and great. And he's not the type to give compliments, so it's not like he was like,
right. No, and that's great.
It's not like that. That's was like, you know, hey, you look great, and you know, no, there would be like months that I wouldn't get one compliment, and then when he's like, hey, that's good form, whatever, and I'm like, yes, you know. But before that, I'm like, fuck, shit. So it wasn't that he was just like, you know, blowing air up my ass or something. Not at all.
Before you arrived, we were also discussing that almost the military mentality of breaking someone down to build them up, and not necessarily coddling them or being super complimentary or sweet. You know, you got to be tough on people in order to get the results that you want. But I wanted to ask you, was there a specific event or culmination of events that led to you deciding, like, all right, I'm going to get this fitness thing going, but I'm gonna take it serious? Because you said you had been playing around, or not playing around, but you had attempted fitness journeys earlier, and maybe they hadn't succeeded for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned it on the show. I was dating somebody that is into fitness, does like double sessions a day, and you know, he never told me like go to the gym, right? But just watching his discipline, like I was like, fuck, like he has kids, he has work, he goes to the gym twice a day. There's absolutely no reason that I can't go to the gym. And so I started, and then it's so crazy how just life works, like, right? I was dating this person, then I go to the gym, I join Retro in Fort Lee. My friend D, you know Diocelin, had taken his class, and she was like, I was going to Retro, just, you know, doing, I don't know, whatever the hell I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing.
Like no plan.
No plan, just going, I'm at the gym, and that was enough. I was at the gym. And then she was like, you should try his class. So I go, and I show up on a leg day, my first class. And after that, I was just like, I'm going to keep coming back. I'm going to keep coming back. And it really has become like a family. Like,
is it small classes throughout the day, or is it like one class daily?
It's 3 classes daily now.
Okay.
So I
3
do
different groups, I'm assuming.
3 different groups,
Uh-huh.
right? So I have a 5 a.m., a 10 a.m., and an 8 p.m.
Okay.
What it is, and I'll explain it to you now. What I realized in fitness was that the average person, just like how she said, goes to the gym and they don't know, or they've had a personal trainer, but personal trainers, they just teach you what they want to teach you.
Right.
They don't give you lifetime advice that you can do it on your own, because they want you to come back so that you can pay them, right? So I realized and said, I don't want to do that. I want to teach people how to do it on their own, just in case if I were to not be there anymore. They now know how to work out, right? So, and I hated, like I was telling you before, I got tired of doing personal training because I saw the people weren't accountable anymore. So I decided on making a workout split like how I do, breaking the body down in 4 days. Not only will that force them to do the 4 days because they're going to miss a body part, so they're going to want to come back tomorrow or the next day, because then they're like, damn, I did my arms, now I need to get my legs, or I need to get my abs, or whatever it may be. So that would hold them accountable to that. But I'm also going to show them different forms of how to execute muscle, right? Like resistant bands, static holds, all these things that are weight training, intervals, all these things that are important when you're trying to break down fat and increase muscle, and just everything, right? Breathing also I talk about in my class as well. So I'm going to teach them all the forms in those 4 days. I'm going to educate them. And not only that, I'm going to put them in a group chat amongst each other. So they'll eventually hold each other accountable to coming to class, which they do now. They're a team, they're a family. And that group chat is a safe zone. There is no negative. We don't talk about personal things. We talk about fitness, anything that's going to help us and improve nutrition, some funny memes here and there, but I keep it just like that. Yeah. You know, if I don't see you for 2-3 weeks, you're out of the chat.
Yeah.
I could care less.
And is it 4 days on and 3 days off, or is it like
4 days on, 3 days off?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I like it. Back in the day, people thought like the split was Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you know, with those days in between. And I just think that, I mean, bodybuilding and just my life situation, how I've done it and stuff, it just didn't work that way. You know what I mean? It just, I saw it would be better to hit it hard 4 days and then have those 3 days, right? Everyone lives for Friday and Saturday and Sunday. I'm not going to commit them to a Friday because I know they're not going to really be there mentally. So I'm going to slaughter them up till Thursday, so that Friday, hopefully they make smarter decisions and it'll be sore as hell.
Right.
So that on Saturday, exactly. But it's also, they're earning that, right? They're earning their weekend. They're not just going to the weekend and go like, I made it. No, they're earning now what they did. But back to with Leslie, when I met Leslie, I saw she was never in bad shape, right? She was just regular, right? And then I saw that.
Regular.
That's not an insult.
It's not an insult.
Regular is okay, guys.
I saw as she came more, right? She was trying to really listen and pay, and I love that. Pay attention. She wanted to learn, you know. She wanted to know more about the exercises and things like that. So as she gave a little bit, I gave her a little bit more and more and more. And it just was this past year. I think it was like, what, 8 months ago?
Yeah, like January. I think it was like end of January.
I gave her kind of like, I went up to her, I said, hey, look, I don't do this for anyone. I'm going to give you a personal meal plan that I'm going to create for you that I know will work. And you can have your dream body, but you have to be fully committed, and you have to send me pictures. We have to talk. I am in your business. Yeah. I have to know if you ate something, how you ate it, did you weigh it, all those things, how much water intake, all those things. The cardio needs to be on point. You can't lie or anything like that, because I charge $500 for this, right? I'm gonna give it to you for free, but I just need you to, you know. And she was like, and I told her, I said, hang out, do everything you want this weekend. Party, drink, eat all the food that you want. But when you come back, all that stops. And then you'll eventually earn that cheat meal. Then you'll earn the weekends. Then you'll get back your life, because now you set your body up for success. It's on a schedule now. So I gave her it. She started it, and little by little, it was just chopping
It was
down. And
crazy.
And
It was crazy, the transformation.
And how long have you been on your fitness journey
with Stice? 2
Yeah.
years. 2
2
and a couple months. Like 2,
Yeah.
what are we, September 2 and 2 months? Yeah.
But yeah, her transformation was like that.
And I want to touch on something that you had said with other trainers, because I've had other trainers. And listen, I don't want to, I'm not saying anything bad about trainers. I've had some great trainers, but I didn't learn anything. So that's why when I would go to the gym, I didn't know what to do. With Stice, I've learned, like, listen, if you pull something and you have your hands this way, it's one muscle. If you do it this way, it's another muscle. If your legs are out this way, it's one. If you have, if they're too high, if they're too low, like, I'm like, it's insane the amount of information that I've learned, and I continue to learn, right? Because there's so much. And I had no idea that just tweaking the position of your hands or your leg, it targets like a whole different side of the muscle.
Right.
I didn't know that.
But you have to be open and willing to learn that as well.
Of course.
Some
Of
people
course.
are satisfied with the trainer who doesn't necessarily teach them anything and just kind of runs them through a certain program. But that shows their level of commitment and willingness to actually learn the process and what's good for them and stuff.
Like mind muscle connection, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
But
like,
trainers
he
gotta
taught
be like
me that.
therapists, right? You gotta find the one that fits you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you I think earlier you said you have a obsessive personality.
Yeah.
And I feel like you have stated that as well. So that's a perfect fit because you're gonna obsess over her getting the best results, and you're gonna obsess over learning and
yeah, and the fact that
best and getting the best results.
The fact that he was willing to do that for me, like, I was like, shit, like, I'm gonna give it my all.
That makes you want to commit more.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, I was like, I'm gonna give it my all. I'm gonna, I don't want to disappoint him, right? And then it got to a point where I started to see results, right? And then I'm like, oh my God, okay.
Post this on the gram.
Check this out, right? There's only very few people like Leslie.
Correct.
Very few people.
Correct.
Because I'll tell you it this way. I have a great amount of people in my program, right? On my 40th birthday, which was this past May.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. May 26th.
Gemini.
I gifted them the meal plan.
To
For
everyone?
men and women. I gifted them. It was my gift to them, not even them giving me any. I gave them the meal plan that would make them completely change their body.
Right.
And out of all of them, there's only one other person that's starting to do it like Leslie. One other out of, let's say, 40-something people.
Yeah. It's a small percentage of people who are fully committed to themselves and their health.
It's not easy. That's why.
And the transformation.
That's exactly why. It's not easy. I don't think people understand. It makes everything outside of yourself a little difficult, right? Like when you go out to eat, right? Listen, now this summer, I have to say, I was like, all right, I'm going to loosen up a little. But then I go to Stice and I'm like, oh my God, Stice, the abs are gone, this, right? I freak out. So I'm like, that's it, summer's over, I'm back, right? But when I was hardcore, right, before the summer, I was like, okay, I don't want to go out because I don't want to drink. You can ask Dolly. Dolly's like, oh, she's not there anymore. But Dolly, Dolly be like, are we going to go do Zumba? And I'm like, I can't.
Sure.
I can't. I can't drink. You know, I don't even want to put myself in that position to be tempted.
Yeah.
You don't realize also that it also makes dating difficult because I got to go to the gym. Don't ask me to miss the gym for you because you're cut off if that's the case, right? And my class is at 8:00. So I'm sorry, I can't see you because then the next day I work. Yeah. So it makes it that much more difficult.
Again, is a credit to your dedication to it, right? Because some people would see those as opportunities and make the excuse. Oh, you know, my friend's birthday, we was going out, like, I wanted to get me a margarita.
But Stice calls us out. Like, if he sees us
slacking.
But
I think you should. I think that's what makes a good trainer.
He puts us on the spot. Because Stice will check our stories and he'll be like, oh, you didn't come to class, but you were out doing, everybody like,
That goes back to the accountability.
Exactly.
No, definitely.
Yeah, you got to be held accountable. You're an adult.
He's definitely changed my life.
All right, so something else that we spoke about before you arrived was the confidence that working out and transforming your body develops, right? And how that allows you to step into other areas that maybe before you would have been a little apprehensive to step into. So, do you have any examples of things that you've done now that maybe you wouldn't have even considered before? Other than the bikini reels.
You know,
That'd be going crazy, matter of fact. Where's the camera? Shout out to Mama Les on TikTok. Going crazy on the reels.
I'm telling him he needs to use TikTok, man. I'm telling
Oh, no,
you.
you definitely do, bro. You definitely
Right?
do. Yeah. Mama Les going crazy.
I like posting though, and I'm like, is it gonna be a hit? Is it not? But it's bad.
They're all hits.
They have
From what I see.
They have been hits. And they're all, by the way, Stice makes the most amazing videos of me working out.
Yes.
When he doesn't record me, I'm like, I'll try to record myself, and I'm like, it's not the same.
No, I was complimenting him earlier on. Remember the
His
video I
videos?
told you that I was like, yo, that should look like a nightclub.
Yeah,
party.
it is the nightclub.
yeah.
His wife calls it, what is it? Stice?
Club Stice.
Club Stice.
Nice, there you go.
I think what it's really helped me is more on my personal side as far as confidence in like relationship and my boundaries and being okay with walking away from something that's not it's not benefiting me anymore.
Right.
I think before I was a bit insecure. Lack of confidence, and maybe the outside world, right, may not have seen that, but within myself, I was, and I tolerated a lot of things that I didn't because I was scared to just lose what I had, right, or scared to be alone. Or now I'm like,
or even maybe scared to stand up for yourself, no?
yeah, just scared.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly of what, maybe of a lot of things. And I think that going on this journey really changed my mindset. The discipline, just realizing like, yo, I'm worth so much more than what I've been accepting. And that all came from just the fitness. Like people think, oh, fitness is just about the way you look. It's so much more than that.
Right.
So much more than that. So I think that I would have never, or maybe I wouldn't have done it right away. It would have taken me longer to step into the woman I am today had it not been for Stice and the confidence that he's helped me build.
So both physically stronger and mentally stronger.
And emotionally
stronger and confidently stronger.
Absolutely.
So many benefits. Can we get a quick plug for Stice Life? Can we get the address?
It's 25 Union Street, Unit 4, and that's in Lodi, New Jersey.
And Monday through Thursday?
Monday through Thursday.
5 a.m., 8 a.m.,
5 a.m., 10 a.m.
10 a.m., and 8 p.m.
8
Yep.
p.m.
But you got to be signed up. You can't just walk in.
Well, you got to reach out to me on social media.
And what's the social?
At Stice Life. Instagram.
Yes.
Instagram is the best way. So that's usually how I talk to people.
Reach out, make the connection.
DM me.
and then
I
come
usually give
in
out a
and-
free class and all that. And you decide after the free class, and I always suggest coming in on Monday.
Okay, so remember earlier we were talking about people joining the class 1 or 2 days and then they quit. Right? Have you ever had somebody join the class and 1 or 2 days later you're like, this person ain't gonna quit, but they gotta go?
Just recently, actually. I've never had that. I have never.
That was your
had
first
that.
experience?
First.
Recently?
It just happened the other day.
And without getting to in detail, what was the cause? Was it a negative vibe?
No, it's not that. She's never exercised a day in her life. She's a woman in her mid-40s, which that has nothing to do with it, but she's never exercised. So she's not aware of her body. She doesn't know how to hold things. I mean, it was like teaching a baby how to walk. So for me, it's not that I don't want to train her or not want her to be part of the class. It's more of I need to be 100% on her, and I can't pay attention to the others when I'm on her. She's taking all of my attention because I don't want her to get hurt.
Right.
So I would much rather her go to a personal trainer so that she could have that one-on-one, because I can't give one-on-one. I give one-on-one to a certain extent, but it's not like that.
Not like she needed it.
Exactly. Not like she needs it.
And do you have friends or associates that you recommend?
I haven't yet, but I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, that was my first.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't for like a negative reason, right? Because
Like a negative reason, like what? What were you thinking?
Like, let's say you have a student and you're tough on them, and they react negatively to it, but they keep showing up, but they keep like breaking down crying.
I'm sure you've had that.
Yeah,
I'm
that
sure
too.
you've had that.
And after a while, they'll stop crying.
I have that,
Hopefully.
but the thing is, and it happened. It's so funny. I was just talking about it the other day. This person, she was like gung ho for the program. She brought in her friends. They were all cool and everything. But then she got a little too comfortable and was disruptive in class and was doing it a lot of times. People don't understand. See, like, I am nice, but I'm also, I
Not
don't
nice.
give a shit.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I will say some messed up shit to you.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes, my wife tells me all the time, like, you can't talk to people like that. It's like, I really don't give a shit. Like, I'm sorry. You signed up for this, right? So it's that. So, and I'll make it to the point where I embarrass you. So it was kind of that situation. She was being disruptive, and I called her out right in front of the class. And she didn't like it because she was a little embarrassed in front of her friends and all that stuff. So I saw that the following week she didn't want to show up, and then she continued not showing up, and then she ended up she wanted to cancel her membership. Okay, cool. And then she told her friends to do the same, and then she moved her friends out and all that. And I was like, whatever. I'm good with, I didn't need dead weight. And I don't need that, So for me, it's more of like, the program does it. It eliminates anyone that's not supposed to be there, right? And like I said, it's not easy, and it's not going to be, I'm not there. I am friends, and I do talk friendly to people, but you have to understand, I'm also trying to teach you that we're all but a number over here, right? It's how hard do you work to make your number that valuable, right? And if you're not going to put in the work and you're going to start bullshitting and you're going to be a bad influence or you're going to be disruptive, you're ruining other people's lives. You're ruining their potential in succeeding because now you're distracting them and now you're messing up my shit, and I can't let you do that. I could care less if you're my brother, my sister. I don't care. You're out.
Right.
Like, just the other day on the group chat, I had my cousin on the group chat for a little while because he's been doing a lot of great things for his own physical change. He was an overweight guy. He's successful and all that. And I said, you know what, let me put him on the group chat because I think that he would be a good thing for the group chat, with what he's doing. This guy hasn't been doing nothing for the group chat. No, it hasn't been adding anything to it, no value. I didn't see him follow any of the people in the program, watches all my stories, listens to all the DMs and the nutritional information that I give and everything, doesn't like any of the posts, never comments, nothing, no value. I said, fuck this guy. I took him out.
Right.
That's it. And I told him, I said, look, I don't care if you're family. It doesn't matter to me. We're doing this to make you better, And if you're not going to better everyone in the group, then you're out. I'm sorry. You are of no value for me. Yeah. You're not worth anything, so I don't need you here. And I think that's the problem with today. I mean, we all need to help each other, right? Yes. We all need to, instead of stop looking at someone going like, oh, he has so many things, he doesn't need it. No, you don't know. Like we all need to, if I make it big, I'm not going to be like, I made it big and I don't know anyone else. No, I make it big. Everyone that I know makes it big with me.
Right.
That's how I want it. I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't want to share this.
Everybody doesn't think like that, especially in this climate that we live in today where everybody considers themselves to be the main character of the movie, right? They're not so willing to pull others up or reinforce them or support them or strengthen them or, they're okay with just...
I mean, look, I've trained celebrities, right? And that's a perfect example. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to name any of them, but let's just say I've trained some celebrities and they're the first ones that don't want to put you on because they think you're going to steal their spotlight, right? And that's the thing. It's just like, you should be so confident in how great you are and what you do because that's the reason why you're famous, that nothing is going to take that away from you. Nothing. But the fact that you don't want to shine light on someone that you know that has potential shows that you don't have talent.
Right.
You know,
And you're insecure.
Exactly.
The facade is.
That whole like, I just don't believe it, and I just don't like it. I'm like, it just shows weakness, and
that's what we're trying to eliminate.
And Stice has done a really good job at creating the family for Stifle. Like the APM class, man. When I tell you it's a fucking family, like it's a family. Like we'll work out, and if somebody's slacking, you're like, you better pick up heavier. What are you doing? You know? In the group chat, everything when they post pictures, right? Like it's such a great group, and that all came from his madness. Yeah. Right.
Well, his madness found a bunch of like-minded individuals with the same mindset and same goals. And he brought y'all together, and now y'all kind of support each other.
And we're all at different stages.
Yeah.
All at different stages.
So it's like a chosen family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's easy to be, you know, in there, right? It's easy to become part of that family. I mean, it's not just them, right?
It's easy to get in,
right?
But it's not easy to maintain because the class is tough. You're tough on them. Yeah, so you have to have that level of toughness and
it's
desire.
It's a rewarding, right? You got to go through some hard shit to feel good at the end, right? And they all say that it's hard, but then it feels so good when they're done, right? They're so satisfied. And it's also like when I add someone to the class, I don't just make them feel like no one's going to talk to you. No, they're going to be in the group chat, and I make it aware of everyone. Hey, this is Leslie. She's now with us in the APM Slice Life group. Everyone welcome her.
And all the messages start coming in. Welcome. Yeah.
You know,
and that makes you feel good.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, so that makes you want to come back.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's not like we're going to ignore you. No. You are part of this, and we are all going to make sure that we make you feel like you're part of this, you know? One thing that I did want to go back on is that I love that I saw change, and it motivated other women to do too as well, is she brought her son in, right? And I love that.
So I was actually going to ask that question. Why didn't you just bring him with you? But you said he has to go to practice.
He has football. Yeah. No. The weeks before football, I would take him when he was with me.
I love that because not only did she change her life, right? But it's also now she's inspiring too as well. You know, her son can see it that my fucking mom's jacked, you know, and he's also obviously
he's an athlete.
He's an athlete, and now she knows where he got those genetics, right? Because she has them, right? But I don't know if she knew that before, but now she definitely does. I mean, he's a great athlete, and it's all due to her, right? And now that she has it for herself, it's like, that's mine. Yeah. You know,
and now y'all probably motivate each other.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it just gave the other women, right? Like, there's no excuse.
Oh, I think you and your son.
Oh no! Oh yeah! No,
I mean, y'all motivate each other. The other women as well.
My son is waiting to turn 15 so he can join Stice. You don't understand. He sits there and he watches. So when we do work out outside, like just me and him, he knows. He's like, "Oh, mom," and I'm like, he learned that from Stice.
He's honorary.
Yeah. He's like dying to join.
And he's doing his thing. What did he do recently? He had football something this week? Oh, no, it was the first day of school.
First day of school, yeah. His first football game for opening is tomorrow.
Oh, good luck. And shout out to all the moms and the dads out there. And shout out to all the children going back to school. All the athletes going back to the season or whatever.
But we even have one of the ladies that her daughter joined.
How her 15-year-old daughter joined.
Dude,
so you have to be at least 15 to join?
I say 13. Depends on how like you have to be able to pick up a certain amount of weight, right? Okay. There's some 13-year-olds that are just I was 6'3" when I was 13, so that would be the exception, right?
Yeah, my son is not going to be 6'3".
Well, no. I'm just saying, my kids want to do it. My kids want to do it, and I can't have them in there because they can't lift a certain weight, right? So yeah, I'd say 15. 15 is a safe number, but there are exceptions, like I said, right? But yeah, she has her daughter in the program, and they're doing great.
Her daughter's doing amazing. Like I every time I see her, I'm like, oh, good job.
So
like,
that's beautiful to hear, and that goes back to another conversation we were having. So recently there was another rash of school shootings which seems to become more regular, and we seem to be more desensitized to it every time it happens. So we were having a discussion about children and their mental health and the correlation with them no longer having access to or being forced to work out and do stuff. When we were young, we first of all, we had phys ed,
Right.
which you had to participate in, and it wasn't no BS phys ed. Like, you got busy,
Yeah.
and then after school, we was in the park playing ball, playing football, baseball, trying soccer.
They had the rec center.
You
had the
rode
rec
a
center,
bicycle
you had a
manually,
bicycle.
not
Yeah,
electric.
not electric.
Oh
Yeah,
my
no.
God, what's the point of
They
the
don't-
electric bicycle?
They don't even ride bikes anymore. It's just take
Although
me
they look
somewhere.
cool as hell. But yeah, so we were discussing, could there be a possible connection, and maybe you have some input in this as a parent, between the children's lack of physical activity and their rise of mental instability.
I think 100%. The way kids are now it's so different, and that's why I make sure that we keep my son involved, right, in sports. And it's very rare the times that he's, you know, on his phone, like, and when he is, I let him, because he's put in so much work throughout the week that's like his chill time, right? But then I have my older son, right, and my older son is 20. He's not a sports kid. I tried, but it's just not in him, right? And he's more, right, thank God, you know, no like mental health issues, but he is more the introvert, right? Keeps things to himself, is a little bit socially awkward. You know, it takes him time to warm up. You know, when you look at Jeremy is very outgoing, very, right? And that comes from him having to, right? Because of
Right.
sports. Nathan doesn't have that. Nathan didn't have that, right? It just wasn't in him. So I absolutely think that.
But have you ever tried taking Nathan to work out? Because being an athlete and working out are two different
No,
things.
he actually went through like this little phase of like 2 months, going to the gym with his friends. I've asked him, I'm like, puppy, when he was home for school, I'm like, do you want to join and he's like, oh, okay, I'll think about it, right? But he's just, that's not his thing. He's the computer nerd, you know, like that's his thing. I don't know. Maybe
And
it'll
that's okay
change,
too.
right?
Everyone
No,
is
but
not
for
built
his, not only
to be-
for, but he needs it for his health, right? Like his physical and mental.
But he can get physical activity in without necessarily.
Not sitting in front of a computer, no.
No. He got to walk around and do some shit. You know, have your computer time, but have some lifetime. So that goes to another conversation we were having, right? The digital life that everyone lives, and then the reality life that people are kind of like not living, right? So to bring it back to the school shootings, these kids are shooting people every day in their digital life, in their video game life.
I think that
And
these
then
kids,
when they do it in real life,
because they're not doing anything physical, they don't have, like, for example, your football coach becomes, right, like
Your father figure.
your father figure, right?
Right.
Your whatever sport, right? Your coach or anybody that's providing you some type of guidance, they don't have that. They don't have that, right? And parents are still working, right? They're not home throughout the day. So now all these kids have is these things on the internet. Going on the
negative
internet, these negative things, right? Because social media has great things, but I think that the negative stuff kind of like takes over the positive things that could come out of social media. And if you don't have a coach or whatever, because your parents are working, it's very easy to fall into that, right? And find a community that you think supports you, right? But they're supporting you to do things that are like a shooting, you know?
treacherous.
And then
Like I
you're
was
praised
telling-
for doing something like that instead of a coach praising you for
Well, they're
doing
praised
something
by this community of
by the community. That's what I'm
psychopaths,
saying.
but then
No,
they're
no, that's what
punished
I'm
by
saying.
society.
Right, but at the moment they're getting a praise that they're not getting elsewhere, right? Because their parents aren't home to praise them. They don't have
have a
any
coach.
good role models in their
true.
life. So
Yeah.
that's the praise that they're getting. So it's very easy to fall into that if you don't have the support.
There's also no real fear in their life, like I was telling
Right.
you, right? There's no,
There's no
like,
fear of consequence.
There's no, not, and I'm not saying let's get bullies in here, but it's just like nowadays you can't say certain things, you can't look at someone a certain way, you can't make fun of them, you can't do anything. So all those things, yes, that's great and all that we have. These kids don't have to go around that, but it's also, there's a reason why those things worked, right? There's a reason why when you know, got pushed by someone into a locker and it hurt and you couldn't do anything about it, made you realize, all right, I want to get a little bit bigger and
I
stronger.
need to bulk up.
Maybe I need to, certain things, right? You changed because hard times make you change. But when you don't have hard times, everything you start making stupid decisions based on a video game, right? You didn't have a real life situation. You didn't get your ass beat after school. So you don't know what it feels like to get an ass whooping, right? So that's never been something that you've been scared of. You've never had real fear. So now when you're playing a video game and you're just killing people all left and right, or you're doing things like that, you don't know what the true meaning is of hurting someone because you're just killing people on a video game. So when you just go into school, someone hurt your feelings, or you're too soft-minded, physically soft, and all those things that you just think picking up a gun and pulling the trigger and killing someone is like a video game. But you don't realize it's real life and there's precautions. And then when you've done it, it's already too late. And these kids, they don't realize it. I'm not saying that they need an ass whipping, but I do think that they need.
But they need an ass whipping.
They do. Yeah, we don't got to sugarcoat it.
They do, but
And their first ass whooping shouldn't be in prison on day one.
I also think
they
that
call
school
life.
needs to be a little bit. There needs to be some changes, right? Like physical education needs to be a little bit more militant. It needs to be harder. It needs to be, you need to struggle so that hard things happen. When you're going through the day and you haven't stressed the body, then you know what I mean. It all accumulates, and people make poor decisions. And I also I was saying earlier, I think that it starts from the food. Poor food, poor mindset, body looks crazy or whatever, and then you start making poor decisions. Like all that stems from what we're putting in our bodies. And then all those things happen like that. When you eat shit, you look like shit, you feel like shit, you make shit decisions. That's what I said.
And then we got into a deeper discussion, conspiracy discussion about how it's kind of all set up. And I didn't even get to tell you that I was thinking, like, it's all set up to make us weak and docile so that we're unable to fight against whoever's coming to try to enslave the whole society. And
it's a business.
Yeah, and it's all the Matrix, man.
Yeah, it's all
Oh, Lord.
I mean, that's why all these other countries laugh at us, right?
Yes.
They laugh at us.
Have you seen videos of like phys ed classes in like Korea or Japan?
Yo, it's
They're kick-ass.
crazy.
It's nuts.
Even the education system there
they
is
don't
crazy.
play.
They do not play.
And again, that's why they laugh at us, because ours is so lax and so like almost ridiculous. I want to say.
Yeah, I mean,
kids. I mean, these kids nowadays, and we don't have to stay on the topic too long, but they're fucking dumb, bro. They can't read a clock. They can't read cursive. They can't write cursive.
They can't write
do
No,
yeah,
basic
they
math.
don't get
The calculator, the phone does everything.
Yeah.
Like it's
no. And now
ridiculous, bro.
with the
Chat
AI,
GPT?
that chat GP thing.
If I was a
whatever.
kid right now, yo, I'd get over, bro. What? Because I've always had a schemy mind. Like, how can I get over? Oh my God, I would be killing it. Homeschooling or what is it? Digital classes or whatever.
Zoom, remote.
I'd
remote.
be killing them, yo. I'd be like a straight A student. I wouldn't know shit.
But even now, like
but I'd be a
colleges
straight
and
A
stuff are encouraging people to use those chat. You hear me?
Yeah.
That's too much of the
The
chat
GPT.
GPT thing.
They shouldn't.
They encourage it.
I mean, I can't understand why, because that student is not putting forth the knowledge that they've accumulated to create something to turn into you. They're just feeding a machine and it's spitting out some shit back to them.
There also needs to be set boundaries. I think that's why it's become so, and I hate using the word soft, but it's become so soft that even teachers are scared to like say anything or do anything. Kids are going in with cell phones, and I mean, don't get me wrong, my daughter has a cell phone, but I tell her she's only using it in case of an emergency. She needs a ride, and that's it. The second she gets home, that phone's mine. You're not on the phone with your friends, none of that shit. That phone is for an emergency, it's for this. But and same thing in school, it needs to be done like that. It needs to be put in like how they do it at concerts, right?
Yeah.
In one of those sleeves in your locker, and that's that. Because that's the problem with kids now. They're sitting in class, instead of listening to the teacher, they're on their phone, on Instagram, talking crap about each other. You know, how we used to write notes, they're sending text messages and things, and DMs and things like that. And those things have ruined everything. And I think that school now is just looked at as like place where to hang out. You know what I mean?
No, school is
These kids
terrible,
are-
bro. They're
these kids
in
are-
their pajamas and fucking Crocs and bonnets and shit. They look
Yes.
homeless. You're not even presenting yourself as
Yes.
Yeah.
confident or wanting
the
success.
Crocs
Like,
kills
thank
me.
you. Finally,
Kills me.
thank you.
Kills me.
Amen. Amen.
I think we had like a whole episode on Crocs last time.
I'm so anti-Crocs.
Oh,
I know what to
God.
get you for Christmas.
If somebody shows up to Stice Life in some Crocs for the workout session, you kick them out? Please do.
They're not
And
doing the class.
Thank you.
They're not.
You hear that, guys?
Put up like no Crocs allowed sign, please.
That's
But another thing about the school, right?
Yeah.
And the teachers. How many videos do you see of teachers that get beat up by these kids?
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
The teacher got to get in the workout plan so they can defend themselves. Because damn, I've seen teachers get beat up,
Yeah.
like grown adult beatings from these children.
It's just like, where are the parents?
The lack of respect,
Yeah.
the lack of discipline at home, you know?
And that goes back again to the societal changes where it's like I'm sure a lot of parents feel they can't even discipline their children.
But you don't
being
have to
held,
beat your kids for them to be good kids. I've never had to lay a hand on either of my kids. And it was always, we're going to sit down, we're going to have a conversation. What did you do wrong? Do you understand what you did wrong? And there's consequences for your actions, right?
But I don't even think they do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
just
where are
let
the
'em
parents? So
run
it's
free.
not that, oh, you know, because I can't hit my kid, now he's out of control. No, you don't have to hit your kids. I mean, some kids, yes, they need a fucking ass whipping, right? I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But, and mind you, my older son didn't have his dad in his life. So, right, I can't even say, nobody could really be like, oh, because they had their dad in their lives. And yes, it absolutely helps, but it's not impossible for a single mom to raise a decent, respectful child.
Right.
It's not impossible.
But he had men in his life.
He did. He had my dad,
So
of course.
That helped.
But everybody, I mean, I think
not
would
everybody,
not everybody,
unfortunately,
but well, that's where the coaches would come in, right? That's where, as a mom, right, if you can't play that
But
part,
that
then
also goes back to what we
then
were saying.
put 'em into sports,
Shit
put 'em
like that is
into-
not even as available as it was. The rec centers don't exist no more. The
No.
after-school programs
The-
don't exist
but
no
the-
more.
no, the
I've
towns-
heard
the
there's
towns
some schools
still
that
have-
are taking out phys ed.
no, the towns still have teams that you can sign up and play
For free?
For free.
Okay, no, I'm asking.
They got to pay like the uniform, which was the same thing us growing up. You paid like $25 or something like that. Towns still have those sports. Granted, I guess, right? Like if your kid is good, right? You want him to be in a good. It costs money,
Of
right?
course,
Like
that's different.
you know. But there's still that option. I just think that parents find it easier to just let their kids stay on the iPad. You know, the
Well,
remote,
I
the
think
remote
a lot of parents
babysitter.
live in the digital age themselves.
Yeah.
So their kids on the iPad and they're right next to them on the iPhone doing the same thing, TikToking and
And
DMing.
listen,
and
and
But I
don't get me
think,
wrong,
like-
I fall into that. I've fallen into that as well, where we're sitting down eating, we're at a restaurant,
Yeah.
and we're all on our phone, and sometimes I'm like, fuck, like
Oh, you
shit,
guys
you know.
slap them up, motherfuckers.
But it's also me too, right? I'm like,
Well, you're leading
Am I
up.
wrong
You set
too? I
a
gotta
bad
slap
example.
myself up,
Yeah,
you know?
slap yourself up.
but they're not like big. Like Jeremy has a social media, but it's run by me and his dad, right? And it's more sports. My older son is not a social media kid. As much as he's into
That's good,
technology
though.
and stuff, he's into like the games and creating the
Yeah.
games.
Well, you
and,
said he's an
you know,
introvert, so
yeah.
that makes sense.
And he's going to school for computer science.
That's
so
awesome. Yeah.
that's like his whole world. But social media, the kid has Instagram and he has like one
And
post.
you said he's 20?
20. He just turned 20.
Okay.
Yep.
Give him time, bro.
He'll come around.
Expand. Yeah, he'll meet a girl and he'll be like, wait, I
Come
gotta.
around.
I mean,
Take my
he's
shirt off
comfortable.
at the
No, but
beach
he's
with
comfortable with his group of friends. I'm just saying, like, right? He's not the type of person like right now. If he were to walk in, he'd be like, "Hey," and then just stand there, right? If you talk to him, he'll engage in conversation.
And
It's
that's
not that,
okay.
you know, he's a
Yeah,
smart,
that's okay. I was
very,
like- I
very,
was
very
like that
smart young
the
man.
first 30-something years of my life.
When I was a kid, I was a shy one. I never spoke or
I
anything
would have
like
did the
that.
same thing. Hey, guys.
And even, coming up, I was always a shy, quiet one. I never really wanted to talk or anything like that. It was until that I got into the whole bartending and
You had to.
I had
So
to.
let's go
forced.
there. How did you get into bartending?
When I was in high school, I just, I wasn't really academically, I just never wanted to go to school. Like, I just hated it.
It was up here?
Yeah, Cresco in
Okay.
Bergen County. So I'm first generation. My parents moved here from Colombia, had me and my brother. We lived in Bergenfield up until, went to Catholic school, first and second, in Bergenfield, St. John's. I'll go through it really quick. Lived there up until 6th grade, Roy W. Brown. My house burnt down.
Oof.
My parents, they're not rich, you know. Mother was taking care of kids while she was going to school because originally she was a teacher in Colombia, but she couldn't get it over here. So cleaning houses, doing all that. My father was a pizza man. And anyway, they found the only apartment in Cresco, which is a rich white neighborhood. So they moved us all in there and we went to Cresco. But it was just crazy how that happened. And then
Shout out to them though.
Yeah.
You know?
so I got a good education, but I never really was about that, right? I got into
Right.
sports. I was always a 3-sport athlete. I did wrestling for a while, and then I couldn't do wrestling because it tied into basketball and all that. So I did basketball, football, and track. And I loved sports. Like, it was just never going to take that out of me. And then also I became
And you were
obsessed.
big as hell.
And I became obsessed with working out. So working out was like the most, I loved it. When I was in high school, I just wanted to be big and strong, Arnold, all those things and stuff like that. I just wanted that.
Yeah.
So that's how it kind of started in the beginning, right? And that started at 12 years old. I started when I was in Roy W. Brown, 12 years old. I remember my gym teacher, Mr. Magarachi, and that's also why I wanted to go back on physical education. I think you need to be the example of what you want to create, right?
Right.
So
Our gym teachers were in shape.
should
I
be
remember
jacked,
that. Yeah.
right? Mr. Magarachi had the thick stash.
Yeah, the 80s staff.
Yeah, yo, short shorts. His legs were just crazy. He was just shredded, right? Just jacked. I'm like, damn, I want to be like that guy.
Yeah.
I want that. I'm like, yo, how do I get like that? And he just was like, look, son. And he showed me the weight room. He showed me all these other things. I was like, shit, I'm gonna start doing some push-ups. You
Yeah,
know, like, I'm
hell
gonna start,
yeah.
I need to look like him. You know, and yeah, sure enough, that's what it was. Right now, if I had someone that wasn't that, I'd be like, well, how am I gonna work out if I'm gonna look
If
like
I'm gonna
Like
end up
that.
like this.
Right, right.
Exactly, right? So it started like that and it continued on. And then I realized when I graduated, I was just like, I'm not going to go to school. I don't want to go to school. So I'm like, I needed to make money. And at that time, I became a server at Paramus Park Mall at this place called Pacific Grill, which is no longer there. I was a server for literally 2 weeks. And then one of the bartenders didn't show up, you know? And they asked me if I wanted to do it and learn and whatever. And it wasn't a place where it was so crazy busy, so it was enough time for me to learn and whatever. I started learning it, and I saw like the attention that you got from people and the money that you could potentially make, and I was just like,
This
all right.
night.
I went in.
Yeah.
I went to the library. I got some books. I studied. I learned all about fruits.
That's the
mixes.
That's
obsessive.
the, yeah.
I was just like, we're going in. All different types of vodkas, whiskeys, everything, you know, and I became really good at it. And then at that time I was dating someone and she was moving to Miami and I was just like, yeah, I could do that, you know. I could moved out of my
Miami's
house,
lit for a
moved to
bartender.
South Beach, and I mean that ended, but I stayed, right? And at that time when I got onto the beach, I got hired at this little place called Next Cafe, which was like Cheesecake Factory. They don't hire you as a bartender. You have to go through it as a server. So, bam, did that and became the bartender. And then from there, just kept on going. And then my manager saw the potential in me. He's like, well, Fountain Blue's opening. This is happening, blah, blah, blah. I want to bring you on. So I was like, all right. So I had to go through like I told you, I had to go through a whole process of training and all that. And I just became more obsessed and more. And then just that moved into 15, 17 years of mixology, bartending, and all that until I had to stop it for my wife, my own personal health,
Right.
and fitness. Man.
Were you drinking a lot during that time?
A lot. I was doing
And still working out? Or would you slack a little?
No, I was working out. I was working out consistently, but I didn't know what I know now, right?
Right.
If I did know what I know now, I wouldn't have been doing it the way that I was, right? I was just trying to get big at that time. I was just trying to lift the heaviest weight. I was just trying, how can I have more muscle? Just the basic guy kind of
80s
mentality,
shit, yeah,
right?
80s,
Yeah,
90s
so
shit.
it wasn't to the point that I have it now. Now it's
Now you understand the science and everything.
now it's on another level, bro.
Can you
No.
still drink and work out?
You can, but it's
in what's the word?
Moderation.
moderation,
Perfect.
right? You can because you can, and I tell everyone, I'm like, if you're gonna have a drink, have one, you know, have a day, right? Or not a day, but like, you know what I mean?
Not a whole day.
Not a whole day.
Right, don't go on a bender for like 5 days and think that
and
you're
then try to
gonna,
come to Stice like
Oh,
on
no,
Monday.
I'm
they'll
saying.
die.
Reeking.
They'll die.
or see results, right?
Right.
Because alcohol does it diminishes 20% of your exercise, your
Yeah.
potential, all that. You have to think about it when you after you have a night of drinking, or that night that you're drinking. What are you thinking about? Carbs. You want to eat
Pizza.
all pizza and food,
Cheeseburgers.
and then the next day you wake up, you're either hungover, or you're tired, or you don't want to do anything.
Dehydrated.
You're
probably.
You're
waste
not-
of a day.
Right. You're. I mean, like your what is it? Your endorphins are like, you know, like your feel good drug is
It's low.
right.
in
You're
the
on low.
basement
You don't want to
somewhere.
talk to nobody. You don't want to go to the gym. You don't want to do anything. So if you do that so many times, you're not gonna. Eventually, that creates a habit, and that habit just ruins everything.
Right.
So that's why it's just better not to, right? And,
Right.
or like I said, in a respectful way, right?
With some decor. To go back to something that we were talking about earlier, we were talking about January, right? And people joining the gym, and it only lasting, let's say, a month. Let's be generous and give them a month, right? And this is some different shit. I was telling Mama Les that the new year actually starts in March, right? Because that's when new life springs up and so on and so forth. And it's biblical, and the months are fucked up, October, November, December, numbers-wise. So if we move the New Year's to March, right? This is my theory, and this is how my brain be working. If we move the New Year's to March, and you start your journey in March, where it's not as cold and it's more likely that you'll go to the gym continuously, right? Because I think a lot of people go to the gym in January and quit because it's cold and it's hard to get to the gym. And the gym is tough, so now it's two toughs at the
That's
same
some
time.
bullshit excuse.
But people are going to find excuses, but peep my thinking. The new year comes in March, you start your gym shit in March, it's warm, it's more likely you're going to go to the gym or at least be outside working out and stuff. By the time we get to December and January, you're accustomed to working out.
No,
and
because
being
you know,
active.
people like that, what happens is summer comes, oh, it's summer. You know, it's too hot, I want to go out, I want to do this.
Oh,
so
no,
they
no,
stop
you
working
can't.
out.
No,
Am
no,
I
no.
wrong?
Well, I guess
If
those
you're
people are going to
making
make an
if you're
excuse for
making
anything,
an
right? It's too cold, it's too hot.
If you're making an excuse because it's too cold, you're gonna make that excuse when it's nice out and you want to
Right.
be out with your friends and you want to be chilling and
Barbecues,
drinking,
oh.
yeah. You're
So
gonna
an
make that
excuser
excuse.
is going to be an excuser.
You have to
regardless of the
Exactly.
season.
For me, it's you have to earn the summer, right? You earn the summer.
Yes.
In the winter.
in the winter.
In the winter, right?
Of course.
So for me, I love working out in the winter because I feel like it's dungeon, right? It's you should be
But we're
working
from
in
that.
silence.
Not to say that I also enjoy it, but it's like some Rocky IV shit where he's in Russia. You remember that, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna cut the tree down and carry it.
And, yeah, but it's like, you know, you should. I feel like everyone should take a little bit of that, right? Work in silence and let the results
Yep.
speak for themselves. Don't post every single day about what you're doing, right? Because then you're not giving any surprise, you know?
Right.
I was telling my wife this the other day. I'm like, there's a bodybuilder that I really, you know, I love what he did back in the early 80s, Dorian Yates, right? They called him the Shadow.
Okay.
Because look, all the bodybuilders nowadays are posted doing this. And even then, those guys were doing it on magazines and all that. He would never take interviews. He would never unveil his body. He never showed his workouts. Never. 6 months later, he would show up on stage at the Olympia and unveil himself. And what that did mentally and physically to all the other bodybuilders, even if he wasn't bigger, he
Right.
fucked them up.
Yeah.
Because he looked insane. And they didn't know what was coming. And that's why they called him the Shadow, because he would show up every 6 months, win the Olympia, and then go back home to
I like
Australia.
No, that's dope.
And it was just like,
There
I'ma start doing
there
that.
used to be artists like that, music artists who would do similar stuff. They wouldn't do interviews. They wouldn't let you know any updates, and then they just drop some shit, and you'd be like, "Oh my god, this is crazy."
But the whole thing of surprise is gone.
Yeah.
You know, it's
That
just
element of surprise.
the element of
So
surprise.
you just reminded me of something that I read or I saw like a few days ago, right? Where it's like you can't tell people what you're gonna do, right? I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember correctly, but you can't go around telling people what you're gonna do because it gives your body the same feeling as if you've already done it. And then you're never gonna do it because you already got the feeling of
you got the
accomplishing it
feeling.
just by talking about that you're gonna do it.
Right.
So Shadow probably had a similar like thought process. Like I'm just gonna do it. I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'm not gonna show anybody. I'm
Exactly.
gonna just show up that day, take my shit off, and they all gonna.
Right, and there's always, that mal de ojo, which I believe in, right?
Yeah,
People always,
it's true.
they want, people want to see you do well, just not better than them.
Yeah.
Always.
Even in a like a physical capacity, right?
Of course, in anything, right? Like,
You know how many trainers watch my stories and never like any of my posts?
Right.
I know you're watching my posts because I see you doing my same exercises that have never been created. Only I've done them. So when
there's even biting in there?
I've created that exercise, because it's not invented, trust
Yeah.
me, I make some shit up. And then I see you doing it, but you never like it or give me any respect.
But then they do the exercise.
But I laugh and I go, that's
you should
part
feel
of,
good
I
about
do,
that.
I do, and I don't call them out, but I'm just like, it's funny to me because it's like, why not show love, right? Because if I ever see something that I like, and I do, I'll comment on your thing, I'll be like, dude, that's awesome. And it's always been like that. But it's like, for people who just always want to grab and just be like, it's mine.
And
Be like,
everybody
this
doesn't have that mentality of showing love and appreciation and shouting the originator out. But they do say that imitation is the most sincere form of flattery.
Yeah. And I mean,
At least-
look, I've learned so much from past trainers that, that's how we learn, right? You learn from each other. You take bits and pieces and then you make it your own style. And then that's what becomes what you do. But yeah, I just think that we all need to acknowledge.
But credit
Of course.
where you got it from.
Of course, we all need to acknowledge each other. And it's, why not? Because we're going to feed off of each other anyway.
And there's enough to go around, man.
Haters are haters,
There's
bro.
enough to go around.
It's like when you tell people you've been going to the gym for a little while and they start laughing and hating on you.
You ain't fucking going no gym, man. Let me see your abs.
Not right now. 'Cause we have company, you know. I'm shy. Let me ask you a very specific question.
Okay.
You have a student, they're doing well, they're showing up, they're progressing, their body's transforming, and then they hit a
Plateau.
low, right? Not physically, but more so mentally. Like they just hit a battle of depression.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything, like, how would you handle that to kind of help them get through that and get them back on track?
I would ask them to come and work out with me.
Yeah. Like a personal one, like let's work out
my
together.
gym, yeah. And I would talk to them personally.
Yeah.
Right. I've done that for some people, and I talked to them personally. I also even had someone that, just recently wasn't showing up to class for a while, and then I found out that other things were happening in that person's life. So I wrote him a nice, big, long thing, right? Some of the reason why a lot of things come out, I do a couple of motivational, not speaking, but I write, right? So I wrote him some real shit that I think he needed to realize that I don't think that he thought he knew, right? And I gave him some real shit, it's people forget why you're doing this, right? Sometimes it's you think it's always for yourself, right? And of course, yes, it's for yourself, but we have kids, we have family, we have people in our lives that we love, and you're also inspiring them. And forget about you. You're making them lose by you not being who you're supposed to be. And it's enough with this, I hit a hard time. We all go through hard times. But it's all about, like, what do you want to change? And if you're not going to do it for yourself, then what makes you think that they're going to start doing it? And if you fall apart, then the whole house is going to come down.
Right.
So you have to be the example of what you want to happen. If that personal situation, your partner, your kid, or anything is not working out, it's because you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. And as soon as you fix that, everyone's going to move in favor of you, because they have to, because pressure, right? And that's, and the same, like what I'm saying, like her saying her son, Nason, right? Not into fitness, and that's okay. But she doesn't even realize, or she does, I'm not saying that you don't, right? The amount of pressure that she's already putting on him without her even saying anything it's already there.
Right.
I have no doubt in my mind that eventually he's going to be like, hey, Mom, can we work out?
I agree.
Because eventually that, that inspiration of, shit, my mom's this age, she's got this going, she looks great, she's doing this, she's going skydiving, and he's sitting on the couch playing video games, gaining weight. Because look, he's young now.
Yeah.
And
The
he's got great
metabolism
genetics.
is still running.
Right.
It's awesome.
It slows down eventually.
Once it starts slowing down, your friends don't want to hang out with you no more, or things change, right? They're gonna be knocking on your door. All right, it's time to work out and eat a little bit healthier. And I see that, and that's how it is. Like, I don't even do any marketing for my program.
Right.
It's all by referral.
Yeah.
Right.
Word of mouth.
And that's why I say, like, people will hate and watch and say all these things and stuff. But eventually, I know you're going to shoot me a DM because I've been watching you watch me, because I'm nosy as shit. So I
know the interest is there.
Every single person that watches me, I watch it all the time. And even the videos. I do the videos for the class, but I do the videos to rewatch what I didn't see.
Right.
Because a lot of time I'll just move it around and I'm not seeing what's going on. So I'll catch certain things and whatever. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like people don't understand how much of an impact they are without even trying when they start moving in their own favor. And that's kind of conversation I would have with that person. Right. And
that reminds me of something I read. I think it was like every day you take off is a disappointment to those you inspire, or those that are inspired by you. Right? So that makes sense. Perfect sense.
And I told this to I said this to my son, because my son's like always talking about how he wants to be rich and he wants this, all these things. I said, you have the most valuable thing that anyone can have right now. It's given to you. It's youth and time. I said, even Steve Jobs on his deathbed, when asked what would he want back? More time. You can't buy that time. Yeah. You could have all the billions of dollars you want. The most valuable thing that anyone can have is time and their youth at that present time.
Right.
And what are you doing with it, right? We all waste it so fast, So that's why I'm saying that's why I say I'm trying to squeeze out every little bit of youth, because I know when I get older, probably not going to be able to move the way I am moving right now. So I'm trying to squeeze it all out. I'm trying to appreciate every single moment I can run, jog, jump, do all those things, because I know later in life I'm probably not going to be able to do all those things, but I'm going to enjoy the shit of the time that I can. So I'm making sure that I enjoy every single time. I'm going to enjoy, if I could stay up until 5 a.m. studying shit, I'm doing it every day, because I'm squeezing it out, because later on I'm going to benefit from those things. And that's what I told my son. I said, you're worth so much more, dude. You have no even.
But you don't realize the importance of time until later, in life.
I had an experience, like, during the pandemic, I went in a little deep on psilocybin mushrooms. And I wrote a whole program on it. I did all these things, but I had a bad moment, right? But I wouldn't call it a bad moment. I learned something from it. I had a bad trip, right? So I don't do drugs or anything like that. It's just psilocybin mushrooms. I use them for educational purposes.
Well, that's natural, no?
Right? Yeah,
that's
it's natural.
Yeah, God made that. That's
exactly.
Not drugs.
So during the pandemic, everyone's drinking alcohol. I'm over here eating mushrooms and trying to study. And anyway,
and trying to study. That's the funny part.
So one time I had a bad trip, and what I got out of the experience was I had the feeling of what a person has when they are told that they only have hours to live.
Wow.
And shit, did that change me.
Right.
And I was sitting there in my living room looking at my two kids. We're watching Avatar, and I'm hysterical because they don't know
And
that.
you tripping out watching Avatar
Well,
too? That
because
movie will mess you
in
up.
my mind, I only thought that I had 5 hours left with them. So I'm trying to enjoy them and trying to appreciate that. And it's like, I think I was given that for a reason. It's like you really need to be in the moment and really appreciate everything you have. And,
Right.
and then going back to what you were saying with how do I treat that person, I tell them that. I'm like, you have to try and be present and enjoy every single bit that you have here because it's gone so fast, It's so fast. And what are you going to do in that moment, It's if you treat yourself right, if you take care of yourself, and if you try to do better by yourself, you're only going to get a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's
that
hopefully
is so
because there's
valuable.
people that work out and just their
That
time
is
is
so
just up.
valuable because when I thought I had 5, I wish I had 6.
Yeah.
Right.
So if I ran a little bit more, or if I
Did you
did
go
this
through the phases in those 5 hours? What is
Yeah.
it? Denial, anger,
Well,
acceptance.
No, I was just really upset, and I couldn't believe that I'm like.
But it was
That
just,
was it. That this
It was
is
the
it.
shrooms telling you like,
It
hey,
was
you
the
have 5 hours.
scariest feeling ever.
Yeah,
it was
no,
the
that's gotta be scary
It was
shit.
scary, and it was more sad than anything. Right? I was just like, fuck, man. How I didn't value my kids. How I didn't appreciate everything. How I wasn't gonna do this, and now. My time is so fucking valuable. It's not. I don't.
So the bad trip was positive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna look at it as definitely I needed it.
Yeah.
And I think that's I'm using that to give that to people as well.
Right.
I'm trying to let them know how lucky they are and how much time they have, and it's like you need to just appreciate it. Because it can be gone like this. But what are you doing in this time to make it extend just one more hour? Or be there at your best, right?
I mean, I think you were open-minded to that, to learning that lesson, right? Because I think that's what like mushrooms and like ayahuasca and all that stuff. That's what it's supposed to do, right? It's supposed to. You're supposed to have these trips, and it's supposed to subconsciously bring out all these things that you don't even know you're thinking, or things that you have to face in your life. And not everybody's open to accepting it and taking it as a lesson, right? And you did, so.
Yeah, props to that. How do you, or not how do you, what inspires you other than that mentality of time?
What inspires me? To be honest with you, my clients really inspire me. I don't have like a person that inspires me because I don't have a mold that did it like me.
The teacher, what was his name?
Right. Well, Mr. Magarachi, right?
Shout out to him, yeah.
The Incredible Hulk when I was 12. But it wasn't like I didn't have someone that's doing my career the way that I'm doing it. And I'm not trying to be cocky. I wish I did, right? So I could follow in those footsteps and see how it was. But what inspires me is my clients. There's nothing that makes me feel more better because I've never said anything to them and they come and DM me or give me a call and say, hey, you've changed my life. Like, I'm so much better now. Or I don't have diabetes. Like, I've had these things.
Yeah.
Or, my marriage is better now. And, like, I never would have thought I could have done this. Like, those things inspire me to be better. Those things make me want more. That's like, you're feeding the fire. Like, give me that, right? I eat that shit all day because now
Now you want to make it happen more.
I look at my clients as almost projects.
Right.
Like, you don't see what I see. I can't fucking wait until 6 months because now I'm going to show you.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah. So it's like that's really what drives me and inspires me. Is like, man, you don't even know who you're going to become. Like, it's
you speak
no
a
idea.
lot of your writing. Have you thought of writing something, a book, or
no? I think
somehow compiling
writing
your
is
writing?
more of it's my own therapy.
Yeah.
Right. It's me expressing certain things that I don't share or like that, right? But I also have rituals that I do, right? Let me show you, right? So I always tell them, I wake up in the morning and I give myself a high five in the mirror because a high five is a positive move in any sense.
Right.
And if you give someone a high five, you never do it in a negative state. So if you give yourself a high five, you're already starting to roll the ball in a positive mood. I also make my bed every single day because when you make your bed, that's a task.
Yeah.
You eliminated one and the ball starts rolling, right? So I have a thing that I call I dream, right?
Okay.
And it's my own thing that I write every time I'm on the cardio machine. I do my 20, 30 minutes. And it's just, I dream of having my Stice Life program in all commercial gyms. And it's just, it started as 5, then it became 10, and it just keeps going.
Damn.
Wow.
And you write
So-
this on the cardio machine?
Yeah,
Nice.
I always, while I'm doing my cardio.
Is that where you feel your mind is at its most peak active?
A lot of the things, oh, yeah. And then also, like what I said, studying, right? I learned that also when you're doing 2 things that are hard, you grow more brain cells, right? So you increase more brain matter by not only stressing your body physically, but also doing mentally thinking, right? So that's how you can build more brain matter in that sense. So
Is this the first time you share that? I dream?
yeah, I think we'd let you.
Yeah.
I've showed it to some people that I think needed it,
Yeah.
but I've never really shared it like that.
No, that's dope.
So, and a lot of those things they happen.
I was gonna ask, do you go back and review and see what you've accomplished? That you had first, because that's a form of what, manifestation, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the high five is an affirmation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you
should
go
start-
back and
you should
review
go through and just
be
start
like,
checking
yeah.
off what you
Like, oh, I did that.
accomplished,
Oh,
right?
I did
I'm,
that too.
I'm pretty sure you'll be surprised. You'll be like, wow.
Well,
like,
a lot of them are. There's a couple that I always write, no matter if I accomplish them. Right.
Right.
So, like, you'll see it in all of them. It says, "I dream of being an impact on someone's life today."
Right.
And so I always finish every single thing that I dream today, because I don't want to talk about tomorrow.
Right.
Tomorrow's not promised.
Right. Exactly. Or yesterday. No, it's today. Right.
But
So
I feel like that's one you could check off every day.
yeah.
Right?
So I
Yeah.
dream of being an
Yeah.
impact
An
on
impact.
someone's life
Yeah.
today, and that's always. And I always want to be an impact on someone's life today. And then then they just grow, and they just. But there's certain ones that I always have every single time.
well, I definitely think you are an impact. And I think we may not
This
share
is,
it enough with
a
you.
testimonial.
And I think that, we may not tell you enough. But I'm 100% sure I can speak for the whole 8 p.m. class, right? As to how much we value you and appreciate you. And I think there's not one person in there that can say you have not helped them in some way in their life, aside from the fitness. The impact that you have on people, I don't think you recognize
Beyond the
it.
fitness, no?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Aside from the fitness, I
Shout out
don't
to
think
that.
you truly recognize the impact you have on people's lives.
Thank you.
Yes, big shout out to
Yeah.
that, man. Shout out to all the students, and make sure y'all show Brother Stice some love.
Stice Life, see if you guys can keep up, baby.
At Stice Life,
Yes.
and that's located at 25 Union Street, Union 4, Lodi, New Jersey, Monday through Thursday, 5 a.m., 10 a.m., and 8 p.m.
Yes.
Yes. Is there anything we missed? Making time work out.
No, but you won't regret it.
Married life, role model. Any role models besides Mr. Fuck, why do I
Mr.
keep
Magarachi,
forgetting?
right?
Magarachi. Shout out to Mr. Magarachi. Because I had a gym teacher and you described him when you described Mr. Magarachi. Short shorts,
Yeah.
the 80s mustache, probably a mullet, probably a polo from the school that was mad tight, a schmedium. And they used to push us, and we would fucking play dodgeball, and we would have push-up competitions, and I don't know if that's going on nowadays.
I'll
I
tell
don't know.
you who would be somewhat of a role model, right? This guy, his name's Alberto. He's the guy that created Zumba.
Oh,
Beto.
have you met the Zumba sisters?
Well, the reason why I say him is because he was an instructor,
Right.
male instructor, and being an instructor it's a female dominant industry.
Uh-huh.
So not only him doing that, and then also he created something that now it's worldwide.
Right.
Yeah.
It's become a name.
Yeah.
It's become a piece of material now, right? You wear it now. You play video games on it. It's everything. So he, for me, is like what I would want.
Right.
Right. I would
Nice.
want Stice Life to be I have dreams and all these things of having Stice Life challenges, right? Like the CrossFit games, the Stice Life games. You know, I have things like big dreams, and I want to see it in every single gym. I want to see it in every single school, to be honest with you.
Nice. Yeah.
I wish that we could have my program Monday through Thursday for school, where kids will actually learn how to properly exercise, blow off some steam after 2 hours of them first coming in, so that they stress their body, so that they're forced to learn because they're so physically exhausted. Now they relieve stress from their brain, and they can actually take in information, right? Just like what I was telling you, how I do it, right? It works. So I think that's what needs to be in schools. I wish it could be, and I hope that one day I can give that to someone, right? And that I know that that can change the school system, that can change a lot of things, right?
Now, have you started that process?
I haven't, right? So I mean, that's the thing. It's about knowing people, right? I tried doing it in New York. I had a buddy of mine. His wife's a principal and stuff like that. It's just hard. You have to go through a lot of things.
We know some people. You know some teachers, don't you? I know a
you
couple
teachers.
teachers.
You have to go through a lot of things. So
shit, I know the mayor of West New York. Is he still the mayor? Mayor Gabe?
I don't know.
Shout out to Mayor Gabe. If you're still the mayor.
I mean, I don't know.
But yeah, so that's really what
something.
That's what
if we could help you with that, I'd love to do that.
That's what inspired me too, as well. Seeing him do it that way.
Alberto.
Yeah.
The Zumba inventor.
The guy went from being a regular guy, just doing his, it was aerobics class. He didn't have his music one day, and he decided to do Latin music. That's his story, in Miami. And he did Latin music and started doing salsa and making it into exercise, and boom, it blew up. Yeah. And now it's everywhere, and it's a movement.
Big time. And Zumba's popular as shit. So we got to get Stice up there. But Zumba's a little like... salsa dance. Stice
it's hard
like,
though. Zumba's a little challenging to keep up.
Yeah, but they ain't gonna yell at you.
It's definitely not a Stice.
You cuss at them?
No.
Yeah.
Hey, cuss at them.
Listen, there's
I
people...
went through boot camp, right? Sorry to cut you off, Les, but I went through boot camp, and I know that training that you speak of. And I've always thought everybody should go through boot camp when they hit 18. Like, there's a certain lessons that you learn by being pushed beyond that breaking point, and sometimes they'll curse at you, and sometimes they'll talk shit to you, and they might even call you names. But at the end of the shit, you're gonna be like, "Yo, thank you."
Yeah.
Listen, I agree.
You been cussed at?
He curses at everybody.
No, that's okay.
Indirectly.
At least
indirectly, right?
Indirectly.
It's across the table.
Yeah,
cussing,
he's like, you do it like this. He's like, you ain't doing shit. The fuck? What the fuck is this?
But that's
But I also, and I'm not just I think a lot of the trainers nowadays they tell you what they want you to do, but they don't do it for themselves, right? So I let them know, I'm not just telling you this, I do it for myself. And if I can do it, I know you can, right? So if I put a bar this low and I'm 6'5", and I can bend and go under this way, there's no fucking reason that you can't because you're 5'5", right? So get your ass down there, right?
Do that.
And he educates us, right? Like he's like, okay, this exercise is for your lats and this and that, I'm like...
Well, that's the beauty and the difference with what we were talking about with a trainer that, they want you to continue to come back. So they're not going to be so open to teach you because then you're going to learn and leave them.
Right.
But that's not true because I've been 2 years, so I don't plan on going anywhere.
So what's the plan for Mama Les moving forward?
To be honest,
more weights?
Well, yeah. Well, she has some goals, and I've already given her some advice on
time
that.
To bulk up.
I only want to do it from the waist down.
Like what I told her, the beauty of it, right?
Hi, J-Lo.
The beauty of it is, look, she got to now where she is now, right? So imagine now that you're where you are now, right? And next summer, you have all this time to even increase that. You already have the body that you want, right? That you saw, and just imagine now you can just pick and choose. It's like going to the mall and go like, I want that shirt. Well, now I want those arms and I want that shirt. And it doesn't have to, it's not as hard because all it is a slight tweak. Because now you've already developed and you've already chopped down all the hard shit. So now you have the structure and now you can pick and choose what you want to build on. So that's where she's at right now.
What's the plan?
Waist down, baby. Waist down. That's what I can say. I'm like, I don't want to lose the abs are just waist down. I think it's a lot of like trial and error, right? Like seeing what works, what doesn't. Okay, this didn't work. It gave me too much chichos, right? Like, okay, so up the cardio and but anytime I'll
Les.
tell him, I'm like, I'm doing this, and he's like, you're not doing this, then you got to do that. Then I'm like, okay,
it's never
let's go back.
Yeah, Mama Les has inspired some women. I've been witness to that. So shout out to that. So you're doing like secondhand inspiration as well. You inspire people, and then the people you inspire go ahead and inspire some other people.
Yeah.
And, it's creating a new positive cycle beyond the physical aspect,
right?
And into the mental and the emotional and stuff. So shout out to that. Shout out to Stice Life. I look forward to seeing the evolution. I want y'all to be like, knock retro out the box, bro. I'm a member of retro, but fuck retro, man. The bathroom always smells, and half of the machines I want to use don't work. And I can't complain because I don't be there that often. But I pay.
Depends on which one you go to, right?
Yeah, it really depends.
So I'm in Bayonne. So double thumbs down to Bayonne if y'all watching and or listening. And I've actually fuck with y'all because there's friendly people there, But just they gotta maintain it better. So, but Stice Life don't have those problems. Come in, get your butt kicked, get your butt in shape, get right. What can we look forward to? As we end the year for Stice Life, do you have goals that you can share with us?
Yeah, I'm looking into getting my own location. So the place that I'm at right now, I'm renting. I'm renting an actual CrossFit gym, and they gave me those time slots. Right, so those are the only time slots that I could actually put my class in. But I mean, I want it to be a one-stop shop. So at the gym that I'm at, there isn't like Stairmasters and the cardio equipment that I want. Not even that. It's not all the stuff that I want.
Right.
So when I have my gym, it's going to be different. I was telling them this the other day. I want to have it. It's going to be a key fob, right? So it's going to be 24 hours for the member, right? Whoever's a member, right?
Right.
But it'll be everything in there. You'll have your cardio equipment there. You'll have your weights there. You'll also have the class schedule. That's part of all of that, but it's up to you when you do the membership to do the homework when you don't see me, right? On the weekend. Or let's say you couldn't do the classes at those times this week because your schedule just ran into play, right? But you still have homework, right? So you can, and there's no excuse, the gym's closed. No, you have a key fob. Yeah. That's the key to open the door.
And then you're going to be tracking who was there at what time, for how long, and what they
and were they slacking? Were they,
I've seen this. Like I've worked for a gym that had that system going. So I know exactly how that works. And then you have cameras and all. I can watch. So I know exactly what you've done, and it's recorded and all that stuff. So that's if you want to be part of that life, right? And if you really want it for yourself and see change in yourself, then that's what you would commit to, right?
It's definitely a lifestyle.
But
and it's a worthy lifestyle, right?
Absolutely.
I've heard of no negative aspect of it. You know what I'm saying?
It's I'm not selling false dreams. No. I'm giving guarantees.
Yep.
And if you're not willing to work for it, then you're not going to get it. But I guarantee I'll get you where you want to be.
There you go. I want to look like Michael Jordan in about 1995.
You need to show up. How about that?
Be patient with me, y'all. God ain't done.
Please.
No, thank you, Brother Stice, for coming through. Thank you for the knowledge you dropped on us. Anybody interested in changing their life, changing their body, at Stice Life, send them a DM, watch the reels, watch the videos, get your knowledge up. And then when you open your spot, because I know it's going to happen, because I feel like you're not the type of person to let some shit go and not do it. So when you open it, invite us to the grand opening.
Definitely.
And we'll celebrate with you. And I congratulate you now on all the success and the success that is to come. Mama Les, congrats to you.
Thank
2
you.
years dedicated. And I saw before and after picture recently that you posted, right?
Yeah, oh my God.
So shout out to that. I didn't think the before wasn't terrible, but if you didn't feel it, then...
Listen, nobody told me I looked like that before.
What do you think?
Look, she's got some fans.
Oh Lord. Oh, let's not talk about
my
that.
TikTok followers love Mama Les.
Please.
Love, hate.
Nah, they hate.
But they hate, but then they DM her. You know what I'm saying? So it's hate, but with love. It's negging.
She's got
They're just
some
negging
of her
you
guys on my stories watching.
as well. You see,
Yeah.
you gotta use that. Yeah, you be like, yo, you fuck with Mama Les, that's your people, you get 10% off. Yeah, gotta build that, gotta get that, get the members up. No, but brother, thank you. I
Thank
wish
you,
you much luck. Mama
Stice.
Les, congratulations.
Thank
To all the
you,
listeners,
thank you.
please work out, eat right, read a book, do something positive, right?
Slap
Go to
yourself
therapy.
Yeah, high five.
Yes. So, what is it? Affirmations and manifestations.
Yes.
And to those of you that have been going to the gym for 2 days and quit, it's okay. Just get back on it. Holla at Stice Life. And
go.
that's episode 32, Men Lie, Women Lie, and All Flowers Die. And we out.